Welcome in, everyone, and thank you for listening to the 299th ever episode of the Missouri Sports Podcast, brought to you by 106 Apparel and recording from the MSP studio in beautiful Springfield, Missouri. I'm one of your hosts, Cameron Albert, alongside my good friend and fellow Mizzou fan, Kyle DeVries. How you doing today, Kyle?
Doing great, Cameron. You made headlines this week.
Oh, my. Yeah.
You were on the local news here in the Southwest Missouri area, KY3.
That's true.
For talking about camping safety.
Talking about camping, yes.
Well, I mean,
I'm in outdoor hospitality, is what we call it.
Somebody probably saw it out there.
Also known as camping. Yeah, they were doing a camping story. They came out and they actually wanted to come talk to one of our customers, just like some random person. I was like, probably not.
Like, I got this.
They were like, hey, can you find somebody for me to talk to? I was like, no, I'm not going to just go up to our customers and be like, hey, you want to talk to the news? So they got me. Oh, and it was a great
I learned
time.
a lot about safety.
Yeah. You got to be safe out there. I talked for a lot longer than they used in the little segment.
They put words in your mouth too.
They did, yes. Of course, it's like local news, so it has to always be attached to some like salacious event that happened that is like negative. And so I was like trying to avoid that, literally, like specifically trying to avoid that. And yeah, I was like keeping everything very positive. And then like on the actual broadcast, it's like, and he also said camping can be dangerous. Like, I did not say that. I specifically didn't say that. Oh, well, we got a little publicity out of it.
There you go. Did a great job.
Thank you. I've got some experience,
Yeah, we were
in media.
Exactly. We were just a few minutes ago listening to the clip of your voice coming over one of those hype videos before last football season too.
Yes.
Like, look at you, just all these media just popping up everywhere.
I'm still waiting for my what's it called, royalties.
There you go.
From all the season tickets that's
true. I'm sure
little clip sold.
They owe you a lot of money.
There it is.
18 returning starters.
18 returning starters.
18 returning starters. We'll always remember that the 2023 football team had 18 returning starters. Kyle, what are we going to talk about? Oh, I forgot a little news item I need to remember. We're going to talk about some news, and the main thing I want to hit on is the ESPN FPI rankings were released. So just another one of those metrics to get hyped for the football season. Before we get into all of that, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, leave us a review wherever you listen to us, and you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Missouri Sports Pod. Kyle, we like to, I like to talk about how the government is involved in college sports because it's just nonstop nowadays. I'm endlessly fascinated by state legislatures getting involved in college football.
The government has made a lot of appearances on this podcast recently.
It's true. But I got another good one that I have to share. North Carolina, the North Carolina state legislature a bill has passed out of committee, so it's not a done deal yet, but they're working on it. It is a bill that would require North Carolina, UNC, Tar Heels, and NC State football. It would require them to schedule in-state group of 5 schools. So we're talking about Appalachian State, Charlotte, or East Carolina. They have to play, if this bill passes, NC State and UNC have to play one of those 3 schools every season. And they have to have a home and away series with all 3 of those schools in a 6-year span.
I think that's the craziest part of it to me. The funniest part maybe is that they have to do a home and home or home and away or whatever it's called with these like significantly smaller entities that kind of stuff just doesn't really happen in college sports. So they're like, all right, how can we mix this money up a little bit in our state?
That is interesting though. And it feels like, and also part of the bill mandates that UNC and NC State have to play each other every year, which they do. They're in the same conference right now. So that's like not that weird, but I kind of see that part of it as like a protection against conference realignment.
Yeah.
And like, I don't actually know if like Oregon State, Washington State, are they going to be playing each other every year? that feels like the least you can do if you're Oregon and Washington. It'd be like, we'll still play, or have home and home every other year or whatever.
Yeah, the way that stuff went down though was like so hectic that it makes me think that they were just like not thinking about that at all.
Yeah, and also like
every man for themselves.
If you're Oregon State and Washington State, is it like, like forget you, like we'll schedule other people. Yeah. We're seeing other teams. So another bill to keep an eye on in North Carolina. I was imagining if that passed in Missouri, and like because Missouri State Conference USA.
Yeah.
Imagine Mizzou coming to Springfield.
That would be so weird.
Every other year or something.
I don't know if anybody out there has seen Missouri State Stadium, but it is very small and it looks like a high school field.
Old Plaster Sports Complex.
Yeah. Probably seats about 7,000.
Yeah. Surely Charlotte has a better stadium setup because they've been FBS for a while. Anyway, had to update you on that. Another update in the Trevon Brazile saga. Coach Calipari called up Trevon Brazile. What did he tell him? He said, Coach Cal called up Trevon Brazile and said...
I wasn't ready for it.
He failed me. One more time. Come on, pig. Trevon Brazile, Kyle, is all hog. He posted.
Yeah, I did.
And he's going back to Arkansas.
Great for him. That's all I have to say.
That's all you have to say? I was hoping to see him in Springfield. Producer Cameron said he was going to heckle him if he was in Springfield.
I believe that.
Okay, so football recruiting news. There was a kind of like a sneaky visit weekend with some high-profile recruits. And but a couple of them posted on Twitter saying that they were going to be on campus. Michael Fasusi, 5-star offensive lineman, and Yosei Epinesa, who's considered Iowa lean, got the family history there. They were both on campus, among other recruits or prospects. So pretty big deal, I think, to get both of those guys on official visits, especially Fasusi. We've talked before about how it seems like an old-fashioned Big 12 recruiting battle because he's from Texas. That was, going back 10 years ago, that was like or even more like a legit pipeline state for Missouri, kind of swooping in and getting those under-recruited guys out of a state that just is overflowing with D1 talent. And so Missouri in this recruiting battle going up against Texas, Oklahoma, Texas A&M. So it's kind of like classic Big 12 recruiting.
Yeah. Yeah. Drinkwitz still just regularly pulling in the headliners, even, and it's not even like you said, it was kind of a sneaky thing. I feel like 3 years ago, you get one 5-star on campus, we would have known about it like weeks in advance. It would have been a big deal. Not that it's not a big deal, but that's just how we're operating right now.
Yeah, this wasn't some kind of like event that's been planned for months. It was just like, just a recruiting weekend where we got a bunch of big name guys on campus.
Yeah. What do you say? You said Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Texas, and Missouri for Fasusi.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I just feel like Missouri just seems like the good guy in that conversation.
Oh yeah,
out of those teams, you think?
Yeah,
Missouri's just the good guys there.
Yeah, it's like Missouri would be like the Jedi,
exactly,
and the rest of those are like Sith.
I couldn't have said it better.
Yeah. Insert your good and evil metaphor that you like there.
Just for fun, I looked it up. Missouri State's football stadium holds more than Charlotte.
Really?
Wow. How much?
By 2,000.
What's the
Charlotte
total?
is 15,000. Missouri State is 17.
No way.
17,000.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
They had Bobby Petrino over there for a while.
They sure did.
Maybe they made some upgrades. He's at Arkansas again.
I had forgotten about that.
That's insane.
He's all hog.
Yeah, he is all hog. That's true. You can't take the hog out of him or something? Can't take him out of the hog?
Just keeps crawling back.
Yeah.
Imagine going back to Arkansas. Yeah. Is he really? Wait, is he the
offensive
OC
coordinator
there?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I saw some kind of like very rumor mill type article talking about is what's his name? Pittman. Bobby Petrino, like, has the head coaching pedigree, is like this, offensive mind.
They're grooming him.
Is that overshadowing Pittman as head coach? Is there potentially people within Arkansas that want to see Petrino take over? If he becomes Arkansas head coach again, that would legitimately blow my mind. But he's very close to pulling it off, I guess.
Well, yeah, he got in at the right time, considering Pittman probably has a half a year left.
Yeah. Yeah. The most likely scenario is he is interim head coach at some point.
Yeah, he's probably like, coach. His first game will be against Mizzou.
Write down that prediction. I did want to mention with the visitors on campus, Epinesa has the family lineage of going to Iowa. But, let me just spin a narrative here that sometimes you want to break out of that, like what everybody expects you to do.
Black sheep.
Yeah. And just like forge your own path,
I love the sound of that.
And
wilderness forged.
That's true. Forge your own path through the wilderness. And I feel like Mizzou would be a good place to maybe do that.
Yeah.
Get out from under that shadow potentially. Really make a name for yourself on your own merits.
Mizzou has always been that. Missouri's always been able to pitch that.
Yeah.
Like in a series. I know you're joking, but like
I like the narrative.
Actually though, like do something different.
Mm-hmm.
Go make a name for yourself. Luther Burden.
Yeah.
Michael Porter Jr.
The blueprint.
Missouri's a perfect spot for that.
Exactly. You had some more football recruiting news.
There's a young man named Sean Terry. He's a 3-star wide receiver from Ironton, Ohio. He recently decommitted from Notre Dame, and I think Missouri's gotten some steam there since he's decommitted. We'll see if he takes a visit or something like that, but it seems like the sentiment is Missouri versus Michigan for Sean Terry, and I don't know, he might take his time since he just recently decommitted, but just a name to keep an eye on. And, Missouri is involved with several wide receivers, like high-profile guys.
Yeah.
Like Javon Boggs, Corey Sims, Jacob Washington. All three of those guys, like, could end up at Missouri realistically. Maybe not all at the same time, but, like, any of the three of them individually.
Yeah.
I could easily see them ending up at Mizzou. So that's kind of, like, been a position of, like, where we haven't had a lot of, like, immediate need the last couple of years, but they've still been attacking it in recruiting.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just feels like a position where you can't have too many like capable players because there's so many on the roster. There's going to be some turnover year to year. I just for kicks pulled up on3.com and their recruiting prediction machine says 36.2% to Michigan for Sean Terry, 24% to Missouri. So basically, those are the top two. West Virginia is down there at 6%.
Might be a claim your spot now or see what happens with these other guys.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next thing on my list here is ESPN released their updated FPI rankings. And so it's always fun to check those out. Missouri Tigers coming in at 10th. Which is right in line with SP Plus, we expect like AP preseason rankings to be. Like we are getting very close to seeing like a number 10 or better next to the word Missouri on our TV screens very soon. They have a projected record of 9-3
by the FPI.
Yes.
Football Power Index,
yes.
For those who don't know. It's June, Cameron.
Mm-hmm.
2 months.
Yeah.
Literally 2 months, Missouri football happens.
That's true. Looking at other SEC teams and where they rank the ones that are above Missouri right now, Georgia comes in at number 1. Texas comes in at number 3. Alabama, 5. Oklahoma, 8. Tennessee, 9.
I mean, it's early.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can like realistically, non-biased, hopefully, well, maybe a little biased,
Okay.
but I think I could make the case that Missouri is a better team than most of the teams you just said, based on like personnel changes in the offseason stuff. Like,
what I'm hearing when you say that is you put Missouri third behind Georgia and Texas, above Alabama, Oklahoma, and Tennessee.
What I'm saying is, I don't think it's impossible. I don't think it's crazy to suggest Missouri is the third best team in the country.
Okay. Well, another thing FPI does is they put in projections and like percentage chance to do X thing in the season. Missouri has according to this, Missouri has a 1.3% chance to go undefeated. 1.3%.
Okay.
They have a 96.8% chance of getting bowl eligible, winning 6 or more games.
Okay.
So lock it in.
Yeah.
What do you think the FPI? Yeah, go ahead.
Has Vegas published their like over/under win total yet?
I don't know. Producer Cameron, could you maybe try to figure out if you can find any over/under win totals for Missouri Tiger football?
Oh yeah.
Kyle, give me a guess here. I understand it's going to be a wild guess potentially. What do you think FPI has percentage chance Missouri to win the SEC this year?
Based on the context you just gave me, win the SEC, like win the title game, basically. I would say 7%.
Close, very close. 5.9%, which is interesting because they have, I guess, scheduling is making the difference here, but they have Tennessee at 5.5%, Oklahoma at 5.1%, Alabama 14%, Texas 24%, Georgia 33%.
Oh, yeah. Texas is in the SEC now, aren't they?
Yeah.
What was the 33? Georgia?
Yeah. Okay, here's another one. Percentage chance of Missouri to make the playoff.
I guess that would probably be roughly the same percentage as win the SEC, because both those things are probably synonymous, but probably still lower.
To make the playoff? 12-team playoff?
Oh, 12-team playoff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man,
14 playoff, you're right.
That's what I was thinking, 14. Man, I am like, got my mind in last year.
Yeah. They haven't done a 12-team playoff yet.
Yes,
so.
exactly. 12-team. So I guess that would be a better chance than to win the SEC. How about like 11.5%?
Oh, way higher, Kyle.
Really?
We're talking 37%.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, good. Excited. Start getting excited.
The Mizzou's over/under is 9.5 for wins.
It's tough.
That's tempting. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people think 10 wins is in the bag already.
Yeah.
But there's a couple teams on this list that Missouri has to play that are ranked higher in the FPI. Okay. I'll just give you this one because it's like basically the same as winning the SEC. They give us a 5.4% chance to make the national championship and a 2.2% chance to win the national championship.
I mean, all things considered, like 2.2%, that's like pretty good to win the national championship.
Yes.
Like, I'll take that.
Unironically, yes.
What's the highest one?
Georgia at 21%.
See?
You're telling me like this season is played 100 times. Missouri wins over 2 times, basically, on average.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
A national championship. That's crazy.
But so one worry I have is like 37% to make the playoff.
Yeah.
That feels like that is going to be the goal.
It's make the playoff or bust.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing in between.
Yeah. And basically from the moment like the clock hit 0 in the bowl game against Ohio State, every move that has been made has been, we are going to make this first 12-team playoff at least.
That's exactly right.
Who knows after that? Oof. Okay. We're talking about Oklahoma here, ranked 8th in the FPI. They got actually a little bit, it's interesting with these percentages. Lower chance to win the SEC, slightly higher chance to win the national championship at 2.8%. That one goes basically exactly in order based on the FPI rankings. But so we haven't played Oklahoma in a while, but it happens this year, November 9th, I think, in Columbia, Missouri. We're going to try to be there. So I was looking back at the Wikipedia page for Missouri-Oklahoma football rivalry. Has its own Wikipedia page. We love to see that. And I just wanted to tell you this story that I have never heard before, but it's in the lore of this rivalry that's going to be renewed soon. Did you know that Missouri and Oklahoma used to play for the Tiger-Sooner Peace Pipe?
I think I've heard that.
Okay.
I wouldn't have been able to tell you that, but I've heard that term.
In November 1940, a genuine Native American peace pipe was donated by Dr. John S. Knight of Kansas City, Missouri, to become the traveling trophy of the rivalry. He was a graduate. Dr. Knight was a graduate of the University of Missouri, and the pipe was believed to be over 100 years old at the time it was donated. We maybe don't want to know how he ended up with it. You know, don't worry about it.
Did you get this Native American pipe?
Don't worry about it. Anyway, the Sooners were first to take possession of it following their 7-0 victory over the Tigers in 1940.
7-0.
Yeah. This is where it gets interesting, though. Let's see here. The current location of the pipe is unknown since it was last held by Oklahoma. Oklahoma's senior associate athletic director, Kenny Mossman, has indicated that Oklahoma officials have conducted an extensive search of their archives for historical items, and the peace pipe has not been located.
They would lose it.
Yeah.
Come on. It's a
They're
piece
hiding
of history.
It. Yeah. They lost the peace pipe.
That is incredibly, incredibly random.
Yeah.
But I love it.
I was thinking back to old Mizzou Oklahoma games. Like the first thing I can remember was like getting into Mizzou football when Chase Daniel was quarterback, 07-08, and the 07 season. I'll never forget. I probably said this on the podcast before, but I'll never forget watching the BCS ranking unveiling. It was like required watching that season as Mizzou made their way up the rankings. And that was the year that LSU had lost to Arkansas in like triple overtime or something.
Yeah.
And Missouri was just coming off of the win against Kansas at Arrowhead Stadium, the Sod Reesing game. And before that game, though, West Virginia was ranked ahead of Missouri. And it's coming down to it. And there's only West Virginia and Missouri left to be unveiled. And they show West Virginia at that number 2 spot, meaning Missouri was going to be number 1 in the BCS rankings. Now, of course, then you got to play Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship game before you go to the national championship game. Oklahoma's ranked like 12th or something, maybe.
They never played that game, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, we were pretty confident in my house going into this game, and we did a kind of a fun thing where we had a little party, just my family, and we made cookies, like sugar cookies, in the shape of jerseys, decorated them with Mizzou colors, and put we put Chase Daniel on the back. I specifically remember having a Jeff Wolfert cookie.
No.
Yes. And the idea was I was gonna eat a cookie when that player scored.
Oh, wow.
And we didn't eat all the cookies.
There wasn't a lot of cookie consumption.
We didn't eat all the cookies. They lost that game. They scored some points, but they lost that game. And that was like my introduction to the Mizzou letdown.
I was going to say, yeah, your emotional shortcomings.
And, being a kid and I played NCAA football 06 on PS2. Mm-hmm. And, but then, this Missouri team, we're watching every game. This is insanely exciting. The Kansas game was an all-time classic. And I didn't know any better. It's like, we're going to go to the national championship. Oklahoma already has 2 losses or something, but it wasn't meant to be. Oklahoma got back-to-back Big 12 championship wins over Missouri.
It was all meant to be, because it was all just loading up for what's to come.
What's to come this coming season?
Just the next decade of
there you go.
Kicking their butt
in
the SEC.
I'll take it. I'll make that trade-off, especially since the first part already happened.
It's been brewing all this time.
Yeah. Now, a slightly more recent game was the 2010 game. College game day goes to Columbia. And I think I was a senior in high school, which would have made you a junior. Does that sound right to you?
Pretty close, yeah.
I actually should have been at that game. And a friend of mine was like, I'm going. Let's go. We're going to this game. Like, college game day, let's go.
Oh my.
She wasn't even a football fan that much, but she was just like always down to just go, like, spur of the moment adventure. And of course I was like, oh, I don't know. That's like, I was still in high school and like,
it's a school night.
Driving to Columbia,
it wasn't, but.
On our own. I was like, I don't know if I want to deal with all that.
Wow.
Really missed out. Cause then she texted me a picture of her like on the field if they stormed the field after the game.
Wow. Completely
missed out. But that was still an incredible game to watch on TV.
I was very nerdy in high school. I was in the Kickapoo high school marching band, and we were in St. Louis that night for a marching band competition. And I was not able to watch the game, but I do remember the pandemonium on the bus ride on the way home when we found out that Mizzou won, and there was a few of us that were fans and were going crazy. So I can remember that very clearly.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. We were very young. Let us know. Give us your memories of that game. I'm sure somebody listening to us was at that game.
Yeah, I was going to say in the comments. I'm sure you'll remember where you were if you weren't at the game, but I'm sure a lot of you listening probably were.
Yeah. Let's do it again this year. Let's start that game with a kickoff return touchdown.
Oof.
That'd be something. Unfortunately, Oklahoma does lead the series all time, 67, 24, and 5 ties.
Okay, we've got some ground to make up.
Yeah. Starts this year though.
Starts now.
It's oh man, I hope they're both undefeated, but the Missouri's got some work to do before we even get to that game.
Oh yeah. Just win.
Win.
That's all I'm asking for.
1 week at a time. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Don't underestimate Murray State.
Football season is short. We've established this recently. Yeah. Gotta appreciate every down.
I think that's pretty much it. A little bit of a snow lose week.
Snow White.
Yeah. Snow lose week. And we are going to do a little bit of bonus content, though. It's not going to be very good for podcast listeners, so we're doing a separate YouTube video. We found a quiz where you just have to name all the Mizzou basketball players that have ever played almost based on their picture. And it's a timed thing, so we're going to try to do this quiz here. We'll upload that to YouTube. But other than that, I think that's basically it. So special thank you to our Patreon supporters, Britt Treese, Ryan Demore, Tristan, Ben Smith, Parker, Daddy JD, Tim Keens, Tyler Harsel, Brandon Groffalo, Brandon Hanks, Matthew Tilley, Luis Hernandez, Joshua Jacobson. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. We love you very much. You can find this podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, or on Twitter at Mizzou Sports Pod, and you can email us at MissouriSportsPod@gmail.com.
Stay safe if you're camping this weekend. T-shirts and stickers are on online shop, MissouriSportsPod.BigCartel.com.
Thank you everyone for listening. We will see you next week.